They're here to talk all things jobs, HR, and trends. So mind the generational gap. This is From X to Z, only on the Purple Acorn Network.
Hello and welcome to From X to Z. I'm Danielle Farage. Apparently, I'm a social media maven. I think that I just yap about Gen Z all day. And we have Mervyn Dinnan, who is definitely an expert. But here, welcome to the corner of the internet where it's the only place you'll find someone over the age of 20 talking to someone over the age of 45. I'll give you that, Mervyn. Hey, what's
Oh,
going on? How you
that,
doing?
that's very kind of you, Daniel. Yeah, no, it's good. Life's good, and it's great to be able to talk to somebody, in their 20s about work.
Yeah, I feel like these conversations tend to not happen between people of such different ages and stages of life. So, why don't we give them some room and some breathing room? Let's dive into our first ever story and topic. Mervyn, what are we talking about today?
What we're talking about today is some research that's recently come out saying that Gen Z, they don't want to be middle managers. It's a mix of not wanting the responsibility, but also wanting, I think, kind of agency in what they do and how they do it and how they can progress their careers. So we're not looking at the, I suppose, more traditional route, which my generation started in the workplace and were desperate to get like supervisor status, manager status. It meant that you got a pay rise, you had responsibility, and I think nowadays it's more about the work than it is about the levels of responsibility and the kind of title you have.
Right. So, to kind of summarize, I think what we're talking about here and maybe what we should define for everyone in the room from X to Z is what even is a manager? What is the role of a manager within an organization? What do you think that is, Mervyn?
There are many different levels of managers. I suppose that the research talked about middle managers, and they will tend to be people who have a few years' experience and take responsibility for a team. And so they are responsible for, I suppose, building that team, for upskilling that team, for the kind of outputs that that team does. And that some of it will be, I suppose, giving them space to kind of be themselves and experiment. Others will be to help guide them, give them advice, and help maybe point them in the right direction. Um, Traditional management was very much about control,
Mm,
whereas I think modern management is much more about giving people the platform and the direction to and the guidelines, shall we say, to actually be able to develop their own kind of path and their own interests.
mm. You underscore such an important point. I think that I've read a lot about in that a few different there's a few different studies out there about managers and what the role of managers is currently and where managers want to go in their roles. And, I think that management is usually the lifeblood of an organization, right? Because without managers, we wouldn't have very little direction and people wouldn't necessarily know where they're going and business would fail. And managers often are bogged down by a lot of the administrative work and the busy work that is involved in corporate life and which I call corporate BS.